I see it, Barry. This should be a very dynamite show.
Greetings, everyone, and welcome to another edition of In Studio. I'm your host, Ted Perch, and today I have the great pleasure of having a conversation with Amy Dawn Kotel, who is a marvelously creative person, and we're here to talk about her paintings and whatever else comes up. So thanks for coming in.
Thank you. Yeah, nice to be here.
So we were just talking before the camera went on that how long ago did you start painting or start exhibiting things?
Well, I went to art high school, so I mean.
Yeah. Where?
Long Island.
Long Island, yeah, yeah, okay.
Syosset Cultural Arts Center
Wow.
for my senior year.
Uh-huh.
And then I went to college for art initially. I went to SUNY New Paltz in New York.
Oh, yeah.
Which we just visited this last weekend.
Yeah, yeah.
My friends, I'm still close with a lot of people there. But I was thinking about being an art teacher, and I took art education class, the first one. And the teacher, who I think subsequently got fired a few years later, was like, don't become an art teacher, even though the class was about being an art teacher.
Yeah, yeah.
And he was like, you'll end up on a cart. So I was young. So I was like, I don't know if I want to do this. And I switched majors a bunch of times.
But you got some training.
I got a few years of training.
Yeah.
I loved it. But, then I ended up switching to dance. And I graduated with the undergraduate women's studies minor in dance. Which I switched to that for a while.
That's still the creative outlet for your energy.
Yeah. No, and then after that I was a puppeteer for years. I've done all kinds of weird things.
Where?
In New York, I was with a company called Arm of the Sea first, which is connected to the Clearwater.
Oh, really?
Yep, for about 2 years, traveled with them. And then I did several puppet things, and then I moved to Cincinnati for a year. I was with a company there called Madcap Puppetry, and then I moved back to the New Paltz area, and I ran a peer education theater, and then I moved here.
No kidding. Wow.
Yeah. And then I came here to live at Earth Dance. Earth Dance up in the hill towns? It's in Plainfield.
No, I don't, but.
It's the home of the improvisational dance community for the East Coast.
No kidding.
Yeah, so I was there for a while.
Wow.
And then down here, and slowly made my way back to art after my kid was born.
After you have a family and a kid, and you get all of your energy and time is taken up with some of that.
Yeah, I was teaching dance most of those years too, at the same time, and also doing fitness at the same time. But you might have remembered at Strength for Life when I was working there, how I had a very hard time not dancing around the space.
Yes, that was notable.
It was notable that everybody
was our fitness cheerleader,
personal trainer there.
Personal trainer.
I actually ran the space for a long time too.
Yeah, fitness cheerleader at Strength for Life, which is down the hall here in Eastworks. That's how we met.
Yeah.
I was going to the gym, and you were dancing around, singing ABBA songs, and encouraging us all to keep moving and get flexible and all that. And
yeah, so I think it's partially because of Dr. Arnold, because he's like, you can't do that. And I was like, I have all this energy.
Yeah. I
need to express. So I started doing fine art again, because I just have to get my creative output.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So that started and the pandemic happened.
Yeah.
And I started to show actually before the pandemic. There was Go With the Float, which is the next building over. Yeah. He let me use that space, and I had a show that was a group show, so that I could get to know other artists. I curated that.
Yeah.
And then I had my own show. I mean, I did show a little bit when I was in college and a little bit afterwards, but I didn't, and I worked for some galleries when I was young.
No kidding.
But, as an artist, you spend most of your time doing 6 or 7 jobs, which has been on and off my whole adult life. So,
I don't know that I don't think I've ever met an artist who can do this full time. There may be a few.
Well, I hope to, but now. Well, I hope to do it. What I would ideally like is to make half my income from my art and the other half from my personal training.
Yeah.
And then to also maybe expand my personal training to some other healing.
Yeah.
As I get older, because
Reiki or something like that.
I have Reiki already.
Oh, okay. So you're still trying to catch up to you here.
I've done a lot of things, but so I started doing some shows there. and my friends really supported me. But when the pandemic happened and my kid was home with us and my husband,
everything stopped.
everything was. And my daughter was really struggling.
Yeah.
It was really hard for her to be home. So I just started like drawing lots. That's when the circles started to happen because it was like I needed to release something over and over again to like kind of center myself and keep. It's almost like yelling onto the paper, screaming onto the paper, singing onto the paper. What did I want to envision the world to look like? Like it was either I was releasing what I need to release, or I was envisioning how I want the world to look.
Right.
And I kind of would volley back and forth between those two kind of paradigms.
So we have a bunch of your paintings queued up here, and we'll be editing them into the program later on.
Cool.
So we're going to go through these, and I want you to talk about each one. And
okay. Is this the beginning? Should we?
This is where we can begin.
Okay, that one is a small piece. There's a woman, Leah Moses, who is also in. I'm in arts and industry. I share a studio with two other people on the 106, the first floor. And when I was getting ready to start being there, they had like a open studio late spring.
Yeah.
And Leah was selling these little pieces of art outside for a small amount of money. And I started to think, that's a good idea. Yeah. Because, nothing against this area, but I don't think a lot of people kind of value spending a lot of money on art. They might. I haven't found that yet. I haven't found the big spenders yet. Not yet. I'm working on it.
It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell.
It's hard to tell. But I bought one of her pieces. Yeah. I loved her colors, and it was a small round sky, and I found it so endearing. Yeah. I was like, I'm going to start making small pieces. So this one is actually much smaller than what you see here. It's about this big.
Postcard size.
It's postcard, and this was a gift for a friend of mine.
Well, it's a friendship thing. It's, two people holding hands, and you have your bubbly sky.
And I do a lot of these in shadow or in silhouette pieces because it's just for the small ones particularly. I feel like something about that everybody can relate to, and I just love connections. So.
Yeah. This is about connection.
It's about connection
to each other and to the sky and the whatever. I think it's the sky and the ground.
I mean, I think a lot of the times the circles to me represent the matter that's all around us and the energy that moves all around us.
Yes, you had that. I read that as a headline to.
Yeah, my show at Jones right now is, what is it? You matter.
Everything.
Everyone matters. We're all matter.
Yes.
Because we're all made of matter. A lot of us isn't even human. Like a lot of us isn't even us. It's like other microbes living on us. Yeah. It's just like, to me, it's fascinating. Our souls ride through us. Like you look around, if you look like at the light for a while, you see these different colors coming through. You close your eyes, you see little circles. Wherever you go, like, have you ever had at night, like when you look at another person and their face disappears?
Oh yeah.
It's so cool. We're not here. We're here. We're not here. Everything. I mean, I don't mean to be all trippy or whatever, but I do feel like everything, like we're cutting through matter constantly. Yeah. And like how we decide to envision the world could really. There's so much of like the story we decide to have about everything. Well, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I've always felt as though that whatever we call reality here is just this plasma of various frequencies of matter and motion and energy, and in order to and we inhabit a certain plane in that there's things going on that we have no idea of, because if we were, it's a scientific sort of thing that I heard explained, is that if our senses were allowed us to experience all of that's going on, we wouldn't be able to function.
Of course not. We're just these cute little people with these little brains, and there's so much. It's so much bigger than.
So our little system here has to filter out a lot of experience because we wouldn't be able to really function very well.
And everything has energy. Like rocks have it.
It's all
like,
energy.
It all has like, it's moving. Everything's moving. Even rocks, even like this chair, it has some kind of vibration to it.
Everything's moving all the time.
It's so
I
cool.
think you said we are all made of matter, and there's so much going on that we can't take it all in.
Yeah, see?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. You
And
know,
that's what a lot of there's a lot of movement in your work.
Yeah.
I mean, really a lot of movement, which is reflective of you. You know, what I've experienced of you over the years, there's a lot of movement, a lot of energy going on.
but I want you to know, inside there is a thread of going on.
That's right. Well,
and everything goes on around it, but inside there
right.
is something.
Yes, there has to be a center someplace.
Well, there is now. There wasn't when I was young, but there is now.
Well, I think when you were young, you're allowed to just be everywhere all at once. And then as time goes by, you kind of consolidate around.
I don't think I had much of a choice when I was young. I was just basically floating on the ceiling. I've figured out how to ground as time has gone on.
That's the hope, that we figure out how to ground and we consolidate. It's like being in the universe. You know, all the dust that's in the universe begins to consolidate.
Absolutely.
And become more solid. And the next thing you know, we have a planet and a solar system, and boom, here we are in 2024.
I mean, well, maybe. Maybe it's something else, but I
And
like
maybe
your
it's something
idea.
else. Well, that's what we were talking the other
Because I do
day
have
about.
a cute little brain, so I'm not sure,
You
but
know,
I'm open to that.
In a lot of different disciplines, we're not sure what reality really is anyways.
Yeah.
Is this real? It's an illusion. Buddhism sometimes alludes to, well, this is all just really an illusion. It's what you think is here, but how do you know it's really what it is? We don't really know.
And does it really matter?
Actually, no. Probably
It
not.
doesn't matter. Haha, matter again.
Yeah, well, actually, no, because we're,
I think what matters is love. Not to get all philosophical,
there's the connection, yes.
but that's in connection and finding ways to be kind and
Yeah.
finding ways that you feel that energy. Look at a tree, look at a human, look at
Yeah.
a dog, look at your own foot, like the miracles of everything and that vision and just having the gratitude for it.
Right, it's a
That's
miracle.
what brings and then you just seem like all of a sudden your vision changes. And I think that's, again, like what you get to decide. You don't I mean, to some extent. I mean, there's people who have chemical stuff going on in their brain and they don't get to decide. But I think I'm blessed enough to have that,
Yeah, we are.
most of the time. I mean, during the pandemic, that was bull poop. But, on the other hand,
But
how you decide to deal with that even.
Yeah, but
You can do the best you can with what you got, lemons or whatever.
it's all in all, I think I hear it all, that all in all, existence is a miracle.
Yes.
However, no matter how you put it, it's a miracle.
It's crazy.
We tend to fudge it up with whatever it is us clever monkeys are doing or not doing. But all in all, you look around, you look into the sky and you look at each other and you look at the blade of grass and you say, how is it possible this is all here? And it is a miracle.
And it's beautiful. And when you really connect into anything, you just feel that like oxytocin. You feel that your heart open. You feel like a smile come on your face. Is this like the normal conversations you have with each of the artists?
Sure.
Is this like how it goes usually?
Well, it's how it's going with you.
All right.
In the realm of quantum mechanics, this is all there is right now, and everything else doesn't exist until you see it.
Okay.
And if I'm not looking at it,
that's
it
always
doesn't
the thing
exist.
you think when you're a kid. If you look away, everything else disappears.
But it does.
Well, maybe.
Well, you have all these infinite choices.
I'm not against that either.
Yeah. When you have infinite choices, whatever you choose, the rest goes away.
This could be the Truman Show as well.
That's right. Could be.
Although it's the TED Show, so.
Oh, it's the Ted and Amy show.
The Ted and Amy Show.
Okay. Now we got that figured out. Okay, what's next? Your sea turtle.
This is my sea turtle. This is one that I planned. This is more of a planned one.
Beautiful.
I did look at some different pictures of sea turtles to
Yeah.
kind of get the feeling of what I wanted.
Well, there it is. That's it.
And I looked
Under
at
the
different
sea.
things of water and how the water moved and the way light hits water.
Yeah.
Because
No,
that
you-
really light interests me a lot. And the
Yeah,
way
and you capture its effects really, really well.
Thank you.
Yeah.
This is a pretty big piece. I think it's 20-something by 20-something, 20 by 24. It's not huge, but it's one of my bigger pieces. And
There's looking at you.
that was during the pandemic.
Yeah.
It's one of my husband's favorites. Looks a little bit like Marilyn Manson to me, actually, if you know who that is.
Oh yeah.
Who is also sort of a disturbing character as well.
Well, it's kind of, now to me, it's
Yes.
kind of like
What do you think?
this is how I look at when I wake up in the morning and I look in the mirror.
That's kind
What?
of how I look too.
What? Who the heck are you? Ugh.
I can see with your long red hair. It's one of my release pieces, and it was during the height of the worst of the pandemic, and it was just like I had to. And my husband actually put it to a piece of music he had, and I forget what he called the music, but that's what I named it too.
Yeah.
And the music was also kind of weird and disturbing, but it went really well.
Yeah. No, I like
somewhere
that
on
because it really does speak to who the heck am I at this moment. It's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah,
I haven't had my coffee yet.
I think this is just, it didn't matter what was going on. It was
No,
going to
it
be that
doesn't.
kind of day. I was like, okay, let's homeschool.
No,
I don't know what's going on.
I don't-
The seas are rising.
Yeah, one of my eyes is bloodshot,
Like,
whatever. My hair's
I didn't
not
get enough
combed.
sleep, and
Yeah,
you
didn't get enough
know,
sleep, and
life
what?
is, we're in the middle of a pandemic, and I don't
What?
know what's next.
my
All right,
God.
let carry forth. And that was actually done. That was one of my earlier back to doing art pieces. I
Yeah.
did that while I was still at Strength for Life. So that's
Oh, yeah?
like 2018, maybe 2019. I love that. It's like flowers in, flowers out.
Yeah.
It's like I'm
You're a medium.
taking in the flowers, experiencing the flowers.
Right.
And that one I think is a little bit of a self-portrait. It's awesome. I know it's very silly and slightly disturbing. Again, this is one of my favorite pieces.
Yeah.
Just it's so weird, and it makes me so happy.
And it's all it's got a certain level of happiness and to it. And it's
And
flowers.
weirdness.
It's not
Yeah.
like the computer phrase garbage in, garbage out. This is
Flowers in, flowers out. Yeah.
You got a perfect spin on that.
Yeah. Thank you, dear. We're getting through quicker, I guess, huh? Okay, this is our puppy
Oh,
who
yeah.
passed away actually last year.
Oh dear.
Well, I think she was almost 19.
Yeah, yeah.
Was that right? 17 or 19? I can't remember now. But that's
what
Coco.
that's so pretty.
That piece sold. There's a woman, Scout Cuomo. I don't know if you know her work. Check her
Yeah.
out. Oh my God, her
Yeah,
work.
yeah, yeah.
She's one of my muses. I just love her stuff. So I've saved money and bought her pieces over time.
Yeah, yeah.
And I said to her, and that's what she's really been inspiring to me. I'm like, well, if I'm willing to buy her pieces, maybe people will be willing to buy my work.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I said,
yeah.
how do you let go of your work? Because don't you feel attached to them? She's like, it's like a mandala. I'll make more.
You make more.
So that kind of gave me that impetus. But that was kind of the energy of our dog as she got older. Coco.
No, it's in the eyes, and her facial
Yeah.
expression is just.
Oh yeah, she's Coco.
I lost my dog 3 years ago, and it's just like
Yeah. What was your doggy's name?
Josie.
Josie.
Josephina from Herzegovina.
Maybe Josephina and Coco are hanging out.
Well, they're all
playing
hanging
ball.
out. They're all hanging out.
I
the
hope
dogs,
so.
the cats, they're all hanging out.
I just know Coco's in a better place
Yeah.
now. This one also sold to a friend of mine who's a mermaid. And I was like thinking of certain friends of mine who've always been obsessed with mermaids. And I'm like, I think I'm just going to try a mermaid. And this feels a little commercial to me. But again, the colors really feel good to my eyes.
Yeah.
I was like, what would it be like to have blue hair?
What would we like to have a tail like that? Be able to swim like that?
I would be sad because I like land, but I'm happy for her.
Well, if you're a water
she seems
person,
pretty happy.
If you're a water person.
Yeah, and I think the water. I like the representationalness of the water. It's not.
And once again, there's an awful lot of movement there.
There is, but
Yeah.
if you look at her eyes, she's kind of chill.
Yeah, she's
She's centered.
yeah,
She's centered within the storm.
and she's also looking out
Yeah.
at us, the observer, saying,
Hi. How
Hi.
are you?
how you
I'm
doing
taking
there?
you in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Here we are.
I think
Oh.
this one was called Odd Duck.
Yeah.
I sold this one to a dear friend of mine.
There's a duck with a
Face in
human
the middle. Yeah,
Human
this one
face.
is another favorite of mine. I'd like to do more like this. And just something about this it just feels really true to who I am as a person.
Yeah.
And you can feel like this is my attempt of like noticing what's weird and feeling the energy movement, but also trying to be still within. This
Yeah.
there's
Yeah,
a
yeah.
meditative quality towards the center of the face and the heart. And
Because it's a very meditative image there.
yeah.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, there is still movement going on. It's like the world is, I do a lot of things where someone's meditating and everything around them
Yeah.
is like, wah!
Well,
Because that's kind of what I'm trying to work on.
and that's kind of like that's a well versed, is that a metaphor, or
Sure.
image of T.S. Eliot is always stuck in my mind in this poem's Four Quartets. There's something about a still point in the turning world.
Okay.
When it all comes down to
Yes,
it, the world
yes.
is moving all around, but somewhere in the center of yourself or anything else, there's a still point where everything revolves around that.
And just going back to it over and over again.
Yeah, because it is what it is, you know.
And it's what I need.
Yeah.
So I draw what I need.
Ooh.
This is watercolor, pencil, color pencil, and collage.
And where?
The humans are the collage part, or whatever they are. The creatures are.
They're swimming? Are they swimming in
They're just releasing in outer space.
Yeah.
But they're cool with it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I think it speaks a little bit to, again, sometimes you don't have control, but you could go with it. It's a choice.
It's usually a good idea to go with it.
Not
Go
the
with
first.
the flow.
It's never my first choice, but usually my second or third.
Yeah. when you finally give it up, you go with the flow because
What else?
what else are you gonna do?
Um,
No, this is a hummingbird?
no,
No?
it's a mosquito.
Ah, mosquito, yes.
And I think this one was called "I Am You and You Are Me."
Yeah. It looks very tribal.
What does it look like?
It looks tribal.
Oh, interesting.
It almost looks, Native American or Mayan from Central America. It's got
Interesting.
especially the headdress or the hat the person's wearing.
I'll tell you, this is also a collage.
Yeah.
And the idea, this one came as time. The insect was very thought out, but the rest of it wasn't. The guy kind of reminds me of David Bowie in Ashes to Ashes, the outfit he wore in that video. 79, 80.
I'm not familiar with it.
It's a beautiful video, and it always tripped me out as a kid.
This is the mosquito looking for a place, and you say,
Yeah, but
come
they're
and get
like
me.
it's like, why do we decide mosquitoes are bad and we are good?
Because they spread malaria.
Yeah, but that's for us to, like in the big picture. We make these decisions.
Well,
This is good and this is bad.
Well, it's bad for us.
And I eat meat, but I'm always a hypocrite
Yeah.
because I can't kill an animal. I
Yeah.
could kill a mosquito though. I could.
I don't have problems with mosquitoes.
This one also has sold.
No, this one is.
This is a shirt as well. I made this into a shirt.
Yeah, no, this is the Milky Way.
Oh yeah, I do a lot of Milky Way.
Yes, yes, I've noticed that, but.
Yeah, and this was very thought out too.
But it's got that spread, and it's
Yeah.
got that vroom, that volume.
So the way
Yeah.
I do these a lot of the times is a little bit OCD, in that I draw a lot of circles. I try to make a certain shape, a certain color,
Yeah.
and then I erase a lot. And then I'll draw more over that.
Yeah.
And then I erase some of that. And then I do lighter colors and then darker colors. I'm like, I better erase over here.
It's layered.
It's extremely layered.
Absolutely.
And then the bottom part is watercolor,
Yeah.
because I want to have something kind of contrast the circles that is kind of grounding.
Yeah.
So that's why.
Well, it's absolutely because you have the landscape.
And
there.
again, there's a silhouette. I do like the
Yeah.
silhouette idea.
Well, there's every man or every woman experiencing one's place in the universe.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
what came
It's
to mind.
awe. It's about awe.
Yeah.
Yeah. I am in awe of it.
And I'll tell you, I'm looking at this, and what I see here is an eye, a closed eye, and it could almost be like the face of that turtle.
I love
Looking
when
down.
people think of things differently than I ever would.
Well, our brain goes to create patterns when you see certain
You got
things.
your own Rorschach going. I love it.
Yeah, we have our own Rorschachs going on. Well, that's why a lot of work like this, your work and others, that's part of the intent. You just put this on it and you draw. You take things out of it or put things in according to your own brainwaves.
But it makes me really, really pleased when someone has an interpretation,
Yeah.
or even if it's like has nothing to do with anything I thought.
Yeah.
like it makes me so happy.
Well,
Because then you have like, you know what I mean? Like you had a feeling from it, an experience.
It's because, perhaps it's because the work you've done is having an effect on someone else, which is in a way, it's having an effect on you, but you're putting that out there, and it's having an effect on someone else, which is the connection that you're making.
That connection, oh my God, yes, you're right. You're totally right. Yeah, amen.
So
hallelujah.
And it looks there's a certain level of serenity in this. I looked at this when I first saw it. I thought, and I stood there, however I saw it. It's like, you can take a moment to breathe.
Oh, thanks for the reminder.
And even though we know, beyond all that, it's a furious.
But it's the awe that causes the relaxation.
Because we get to experience our true. We're very, as they always say, we're a very small part of a very big universe.
Yeah.
And this is the kind of thing that, no matter how big your head gets, if you stand outside and you look at the sky, you think, I'm insignificant, which is a good place to be. Yeah.
All right, you might see an eye in this one.
Oh, you might see one. It's somewhere right there. There's an eyeball.
It's like Sergeant Pepper's decided to be an eyeball.
Yeah. Well, it's the universe within, once again, to me.
I'm not sure. I just love this piece.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say except it makes me so freaking happy.
This creature has got his hand up like he's waving.
Uh-huh. There's a bigger version of it too, actually, but I decided there's a face over to the right-hand side that you don't see right now.
Yeah.
I cut it off because I just like it better simple. It's a little simpler. This one's called Bird Talk.
Yep. It's what goes on between people. Da, 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 da.
Yeah.
All the energy in between people when you're talking.
Yeah, and it might look like words, but it might be this.
Well,
someone else might see this.
It's just to me, it's just the threads of energy that go.
Exactly.
Like the threads of energy that's between us here. We're talking, and
it creates a certain volume and certain energy. It looks a certain way. And someone else who might have that, was that kinesthesia?
And we experience it a certain way.
Kinesthesia, like where you can. There are people who
always see color.
See color or hear when they see.
They hear color.
They look at a number. They think of a color or a word or something or name. Yeah. Like 3 is Jeff or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like someone might see that if these two people.
It's got birds and butterflies and birds. Yeah.
Yeah, and more birds. Yeah, keep going. Oh, I should have brought the one. There's one I really love that is I got from watching the movie. Poor Things. Did you see that movie?
No.
Oh, you've got to see that movie. The woman character has all these different, has a flying squirrel, a flying fish coming out of her, and she's like in the sky with. And now back to weird. Okay, here's more of my watercolor. This is 90% watercolor, maybe 10% color pencil.
Looks like we're under the sea.
Yeah, my daughter thought it looked like a water bear. Is that what they're called?
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's right, water bears.
I just felt this is just definitely coming from my innards.
Yeah.
This is 100% abstract. Felt really good to me. I'm sure you can find things in it too.
I'm sure everybody can identify with the turmoil that's the not turmoil so much, but the.
See, I don't see it as turmoil at all. I see it as like a.
Oh, I kind of see. I kind of see
that
everything is kind of this mix of motion here.
Yeah,
Anyways.
To me it's an exhale. I love that. It's so great that you see it differently.
Well, everybody's going to see it their own way.
It makes me so happy.
That's the thing about expressionist abstract art, is that you can put a pattern up, like an image like this, and everybody's going to experience it differently depending on what's going on in their brain.
Yeah. That was one of the small ones.
Yeah.
I sold that one. And it's just another cute small one.
Yeah, it's a connection again.
The connection silhouette. Okay, here's a good example of a piece that I thought was kind of happy.
Yeah.
And someone said, "Why is that clown so sad and disrupted?" And they just made up a whole deep story about the clown and what was wrong. And I was like, "Oh wow."
Well, that's their
interpretation.
And
I was like, she's hell bent on that. And I was like, fascinating.
Well, what's going on? Would you like to talk about it? You
No,
know?
I mean, it just was
Not you,
fascinating.
but
Yeah,
this person. What?
they really, but it gave them that feeling, and,
Yeah.
and in a sense, I mean, even though I was like, think they were worried about me, but I was like a little concerned for them, but they felt something. So I'm so glad. And this is like abstract clown to me.
Well, art always does that. It's an image you put out, and everyone, we were just talking about, everyone who looks at this will interpret it according to their own experience.
I hope that continues with the amount of AI and computer stuff going on.
Well,
I
it's
hope
hard to
people
tell.
still appreciate something that's not so manufactured.
This looks like, no, I don't interrupt
This was
you.
in the piece, in the show, yeah.
Yeah, no, this looks like a part of a Henry Moore sculpture.
I'm going to have to look Henry Moore up now.
Along
who
that
that is.
oval eye shape.
I'm going to have to look that up. Again, this was just a free form, go for it
Yeah.
moment that it felt, and this is very relaxing for me to look at.
This could almost be an image from the whatever that telescope is. You know, this is a picture of something in the universe. You got the light, the yellow with the light behind it. The light is not right there, but it's it's coming from
Interesting.
somewhere else.
I love that. It's great. It's very different than, it's cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
Again,
It's the same
same
thing,
series. This.
Well, it's very what they say, organic.
Okay,
It's
yeah.
very organic kind of motion and the shapes and the green.
And some of what I do when I do watercolor stuff too is, again, I'll put some stuff down and then I pat it off.
Yeah.
And then I'll add a layer or not and try to make it have movement through that.
Yeah, because and also when you do that, you get a view of things underneath that.
Yes, which I
It's
love.
the underneath part. You get like,
Didn't you always love highlights?
oh, highlights. Oh my God.
I feel like so much of my artwork, there's
Oh my
like,
God, we're going back, in my case, at least 70 years or so.
well, existed when I was
Highlights
a kid.
for children.
Yes, you were
Yeah,
any
yeah.
dental or doctor office.
Yeah. Yeah.
Loved circling, and I like that. I like
Yeah.
finding stuff underneath, or like when I do a piece of art and you have to look for all the birds, or
Yeah.
look for like Where's Waldo? But
Where's Waldo?
It's the original Where's Waldo though.
Yeah, that's right.
Much simpler.
It-
It was like Where's Waldo part 1.
Well, it's putting you to work. It's also drawing you in. Stuff like that draws you in because you start looking for something
You
that's
start looking
underneath
stuff, yeah.
there. Or
Yeah, it's always
Yeah.
fun to me.
yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Here's one
Here's
of
the universe again.
Yeah, yeah. This I wonder if this isn't another planet looking at a moon.
I was going to say, it kind of looks like it was. Were you ever in the Southwest?
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, there you go.
it's true. I have been. Not recent. Well, last year we went to
Oh,
the Southwest.
there you go.
last year.
That's New Mexico, Arizona.
Yeah,
parts of
We were
Utah.
in New Mexico. It's
Yeah.
nice.
See, that's
Love
New
it.
Mexico. I knew it right away.
I
Having
agree.
been to New
Fine.
Mexico a number of times, that's New Mexico.
All right, you're right.
Because we were out in
Or another planet.
Magdalena. I went to look at the Very Large Array, the telescopes out there.
Ooh.
And driving back to Socorro, we stopped at the side of the road just because there was no light and there was nothing but sky.
Oh, wow. Is that what it looked like?
That's kind of what it looked like. Yeah.
I wish we'd spent more time where there was no light when we were in New Mexico. This is a more recent one. This one's kind of, I think I called this veiled, because I just feel like the sky is a veil in this one.
Yeah.
And it was very patterned up and down. So it's a little different than my other stuff.
Now, having watched enough science fiction stuff, I'm looking at the sky there. Now, either it's coming up from the earth or the stuff is coming down from the sky.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, well, you don't have to know.
I don't.
Once again, I'm seeing this and it's causing a reaction that's either...
And I just like mountains that are rainbow colored,
Yeah.
because that's what I'd like to see. It'd be really great. And,
Oh, that's
obviously, Freebird.
Freebird.
Freebird! And this is watercolor. It's
Yeah.
like 50-50, watercolor, color pencil.
That's just in the longer. And you have this coming down.
Again,
it
this
almost
is around
looks
the
like a
same
necklace
time.
with
Yes.
different pieces on it.
It was the same time period as I did that last one, very
Yeah.
recently.
It's very, very, very nice.
Thank you.
More sky.
This
Red
one,
sky this time.
one sold. I haven't sent it out. I'm supposed to send it this week. Actually, I got to get that done. And it's probably somewhere in the west.
Yeah.
up northwest. Feels northwest to me. And I love that pink is like, these colors are my favorite colors.
You could almost think it's like the aurora.
Yeah, or about, yeah, that would be nice. This was my attempt to do legs
Yeah.
underwater and like how they get distorted.
Yeah.
I want to play with it more. This is like my first attempt at that.
Well, it's working. It works.
Oh, good. And I like feet. That was my nickname in college, was Foot.
Foot.
This piece is interesting. I brought this. This is recent. This is a big piece. I did this at my studio. I'm doing big pieces at my studio because
Yeah.
that's what I feel like I have a studio for. And this was done, I want to do a series of this to music. So I put on
yeah.
a song and I danced the lining of what I did, and then I danced each color in. So this is like a series of dances to music. And that's how this was created.
Yeah.
And it's actually, it goes the other way.
Oh, it goes. Well, I'll have to remember that.
It goes this way.
Oh, okay. All right. Well,
But that's what it's, and so that's why it looks different. It was done to music.
Okay.
And I'm going to do a series of those. This is the one I just finished yesterday evening.
It almost looks like a skyline of a city.
Oh, interesting. I think it's probably somewhere in the Southwest.
Yeah.
I looked at a lot of pictures of, skies in the Southwest, and then I just kind of accumulated it. Again, it has the lines up and down again, which I'm kind of interested in, like creating different textures, and the bottom has a different texture.
Yeah.
And the way the light hits it. And again, there's a little bit of a Milky Way
The Milky
on the top.
Way there, right in the middle.
Right. And it feels really good to me. And I did this in the car mostly, driving back from New Paltz, New York.
While you're driving?
Matt was driving.
Oh, I was going to say.
He lets me do my art while he drives.
Well, absolutely.
He's
Hey, you got to use
he's
whatever.
not only a Sears Roebuck model, but he also,
He's your Uber driver.
and he's my muse.
Yeah.
I always check in. I'm like, well, what do you think? He's like, and he's like, you shouldn't take my ideas. I'm like, but they're right.
Yeah.
If he wasn't right, I wouldn't take him. He's almost always correct. So, okay, this is a collage.
Yeah.
I did this actually for a particular show that I never submitted because I got it in too late. The name of this, I showed this at the Lathrop place a couple months ago. It was called All Types of Bodies, or All Bodies Are Good.
Yeah.
Just the idea of like, there's only certain places I can show this because some people don't want naked bodies. Like I probably can't show this at the Co-op in July.
Yeah, wow.
But I love this piece. It's huge. It's got it's all collage, so everything is pieced together over itself. In person, you can see that a lot more.
Well, I like the representations of people's heads as being what they are. Everyone
Energy
is
balls.
Energy balls. There you go.
Totally.
Yeah. And they're all slightly different, and we all.
And we're all different, and we're all okay.
Yeah.
And this is also a collage. I had this in a show in February. Oh, is it this year? Wait, no, I think I
Birds.
did this last year. I showed this, again, birds. I used to date an ornithologist, so I really got into birds for a while. And I love birds.
Oh, birds are cool.
Birds are really cool.
Totally cool.
And then you see the chakras going down the
Yeah.
center.
Oh,
I think the next one might also be a chakra one. We'll see. No, that's a different piece. This one's sold. Again, it's like underwater to me.
Yeah.
And then there's light hitting the water.
Yeah.
And she's
Floating free.
floating or flying.
Anti-gravity.
Yeah. She's definitely like, 9.8 for the Americans.
Yeah.
All right. There's the chakras. This is
And
a
the
piece for
bluebird.
a friend.
And hummingbird.
Yeah. You got it.
Yeah.
Even though it's larger than most.
Well, it looks larger, but it doesn't.
Yeah.
And there's your people.
There's my people. And I hope he doesn't look too scared. I think he looks a little scared. But I just wanted that connection again. And then the matter idea. And this one's mostly watercolor. But again, I'm doing the circles, and there's the idea that
And there's the chakras in the center between
Oh,
them.
you're right.
So that's what's
connecting
they're
it's
connecting
energy.
them. Yeah.
It's the energy that connects
It's all
us.
about energy and motion, and because that reflects a lot of
That's what I think about
what you've talked about
constantly.
yourself, especially being a dancer,
Yeah. Yeah.
always moving, always expressing yourself
Except for
physically.
this hour, we're hanging out.
Well,
It's nice. It's nice to sit sometimes. Is that it?
I think that's it.
Well, that's enough.
Well, that's enough. Well, now this is what is this is wonderful stuff. Now you have
Dankeschön.
been exhibiting quite a bit lately.
I have. I've been totally hustling.
Yeah. Well, you know, you got to.
I don't know if it's doing anything, but I'm hustling.
Well, you're
I'm
out there.
putting it
People are looking, and you know, it's the kind of thing that I say. You have it out there. People are going to observe. They're going to look at this. They're going to come away with some impression.
Right.
They may not want to. It's not about buying commerce or buying it.
No.
They're going to look at the images you've created,
I'm just putting myself out.
and they're coming away with some memory.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to work on their head. It's going to work in their memories some way or another, and that's the highest calling of art that can be, I think, because
Just to put it out.
it's just to put it out there. You're putting it out there in the world, and you're if you have an impression on at least even one person, that's all. You're changing the world.
Well, but they do say that
Yeah.
one thing can change so much.
That's right.
Like
So-
one blade of grass, one thing, and then everything else changes.
Then everything else
Cause and
changes.
effect,
So
totally.
you know,
Well, I hope
you're
so.
saving the world one person at a time.
I hope so.
Yeah,
I
we
hope
hope so.
I hope that I'm offering something that's helpful.
Yeah.
Like I feel like art's supposed to make people happy, or at least make them think, or
Make them
give
think.
them something to entertain them.
Entertain them. Think about,
You know,
ponder, wonder about.
and I appreciate that you got my philosophy. So like, you're a smart fella.
Well, no, I'm not.
Yes,
but-
you are.
but
You're a librarian. You're a very smart fella.
you're putting that out there, and it's hard to miss.
Well, that's
You know,
great.
it's
It's
the energy
great.
is hard to miss, and boom, and that's a good thing. So now you have you've been exhibiting quite a bit.
Yeah,
At Lathrop, you had an
I had a
exhibit in
show at-
Shelburne Falls.
No, not in Shelburne. So I had a solo show at the Discovery Center, Great Falls Discovery Center. It's in Turner's Falls.
Oh yeah, okay.
They're hoping to change the name to Great Falls.
Yeah, yeah.
And then Lathrop was last month. This month is Forbes with two other artists. Arch.
Yeah, it's a great show.
What's Arch's last name? Starts with an M. I always have trouble saying his last name.
Moody.
More.
More.
It's got like 8 letters.
Anyways,
And the other woman is,
she has pastels.
yes, beautiful pastels.
So that's the Hosmer Gallery.
I know
at
her name. I
Forbes
just
Library.
lost it because
Yeah.
it'll come back to me. That's at the Hosmer Gallery right now, and it's up till the 29th.
Yeah. but
Next
end of the
month, I'll be having 3 pieces in the Micah show,
Yeah.
which is the mother's. I can't remember, but it's MICA,
CA, I don't-
and it's going to be going on all month. It's all about moms.
Yeah.
This woman has been doing this pretty much single-handedly for a couple of years, trying to create this non-for-profit
Now, where is
for moms and art. My pieces are going to be at Bombeck's, but there's
Oh, yeah.
stuff at the Center for Arts. There's like all over town, and there's going to be performance art pieces.
Yeah.
It's going to be pretty all-encompassing. There's 80 artists. I have a friend in New Jersey who found out about it separate from me,
Yeah.
who's going to be in it. And she's like, oh, I'm going to be in a show, I think, in your area.
So
And I'm
the-
like, how did you find out about this? She's like, I was looking for stuff connected to mothers.
Well, one of your paintings was also served as, I would say, as the cover for Valley Arts
Oh,
newsletter.
yeah, 1 week. Yeah,
Yeah,
that
well,
was
1
nice.
week there it was.
That was
and
so
I-
sweet.
Boom, there's Amy's art. Wow.
I was so honored. She's so sweet.
Yeah, so
Bronwyn's like a doll. I
So-
love her. Yeah,
so
yeah,
right now your work is at the
yeah. And then
Forbes Library.
Forbes
Hosmer
up till
Mountain.
April 29th, and
Yeah.
then next month, May 1st to the 30th, is going to be up at Bombeck's, 3 pieces connected to motherhood.
Yeah.
And then June, I have a online show at Jones Library.
Oh yeah.
It's going to be
Wow.
a solo show. It was supposed to be shared with this other wonderful artist, Jen Lambert, but
Yeah.
she can't do it. So it's going to just be me
Wow. Just solo.
for June online, so anybody can see it.
Wonderful.
Love that. July, I'll be at the Northampton River Valley Co-op.
Yeah.
I don't have any shows for August or September yet, although I think it'd be nice to get more work together.
Well,
And then I have a show here,
in
October, November.
October, November.
And I don't know when we'll be having the opening, but probably for as it changes
It'll be out there.
it'll be Friday or Saturday. They're changing Arts
Oh,
Night Out.
Art Walk will be in May next month on the first Saturday.
Okay, so
that'll
it'll be
Saturday.
the first Saturday
Yeah.
probably of October,
Yeah, yeah.
and then maybe the first Saturday of November.
November too.
I think I'll just do one of those because it's a lot. And then I have a show. I think it's next March 2025 at UMass in the Student Art Gallery.
Wow. So
And I'm working on
you
it.
are happening.
Oh, and I hope to do something at Cultural Chaos.
Yes,
We'll
yep.
see. And I'm going to start to, we'll have probably in the fall, right, November, we'll have open studios at Arts and Industry in Florence.
Yes.
And I'll be there. And I'm
And you're
probably
there.
going to do, like, we're in negotiation, me and my roommates at whatever,
Studio
mates at some point to do another show. But actually, we talked about it a little. We haven't talked about it in months. I'm going to bring it up to them because that
Wow.
would be lovely for us all to do something.
I remember just to bring that back to, you had a little table at before Christmas at
the
Old City Hall.
Yeah, that was lovely. Right, I did
Yeah.
December too. I did.
And you had
that
the cards
December.
and all the small stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Right,
So
right.
that's part
In
of it.
November, we had our thing at Arts and Industry. Yeah, no, I've been hustling, but like I would love to get representation. That would be my next
Yeah.
from a gallery or two. I think that would be great. Probably would up my prices, but I'd be
Sure.
all about it.
Well, that's one
That's
of
what I
one of
would
the
like.
that's one of the opportunities.
That's I would like it. I mean, if that's,
Yeah.
or like maybe to get into someone wanting to market, have my stuff on their shirts. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? What is that called?
Silkscreen.
No, where they take it from
Yeah.
you and they use your art for their stuff.
I don't know, but that's another avenue.
I'm
of-
just I'm like poking in everywhere
getting
to
out
see
there.
like
Yeah.
what does the universe want me to do, if
That's right.
or nothing, I don't
That
know.
or nothing,
I
or-
don't, or something in between. I don't care. I'm just with my free time, this is what I do
Yeah, and you're being called.
right now.
Whatever
yeah.
that is.
Yeah.
If, like I said, if there was no interest, there wouldn't be any interest. But people are
I
picking
think
you up.
people like my stuff.
Yeah.
I think not everybody, but that's true with any artist. I think if
Yeah.
you like it, you like it. If you don't, that's okay
That's
too.
okay.
My sister doesn't like my art. It's very funny. She only likes my stuff that's in browns and tans, which is
Ah.
very rare. She's like, your stuff's too colorful for me. But I love her honesty. Like
Yeah,
that's
okay.
okay. That's
That's you.
okay.
That's okay.
That's really that's why, like, as a young person, I was like, I don't know, could I make it? I'm like, but I know now that
Right.
art is such a diverse thing, and what calls one person might not call someone else.
And creativity is what it is,
And if you
and-
love it, great.
and you don't have to
And if you don't,
pigeonhole yourself.
I want you to have what you need.
Right.
I want you to have exactly what you need
And
so that you feel the joy that you need to
and there's
feel.
something I never tire of repeating is that my one person who was on this program years ago, and I like to think of him as a friend, Joe Zarenko, lives here.
I know that name. I don't
He
know
had a
who they
studio in Studio One in Paragon,
are. Okay.
but he said everyone is an artist.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone has some art within them,
Uh-huh.
whether you're painting rocks in your driveway white or you're doing anything else.
Or if you're a
expressing
pharmacist or a librarian, because you're the art and the passion
the
behind
art
that.
and the creativity, you have it within.
Being
and
a teacher,
you get to
it's
express it
definitely an art.
any way you can,
Yeah.
and it's all right.
Right.
So
Well, I mean, I guess if you're doing it, as long as everybody doesn't get hurt. Although that's a different art.
that's a different whole.
I don't
that's a-
think I like that
That's
art.
a whole different thing.
You can cut that
Well,
out if you want.
Amy, thanks a lot for coming in. It's been an enjoyable time.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I was
It's pretty deeper than I thought. I love it.
I'm glad you're happening, and you're. I'm not surprised a bit, being as active as you are, that there's so much energy in your work, and you're putting it out there, and good for you. So thanks for coming in.
Thank you for doing this. This
Yeah.
has been really fun.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's much more fun than I ever imagined. I didn't
Yeah.
know what to imagine, but I had a good time.
Yeah, good.
You're lovely. Thank
Have a
you,
good
sir.
time. Thank you. So, from all of us to all of you, I'm still Ted Perch, and I'm still the host of this program. And thanks once again for Amy Dawn Kotel for coming in and sharing her works with us and you. And we'll be back next time on In Studio. Thank you.
parting words would be relax, have fun, and rest easy.
And aloha.
Aloha. Aloha. Thank you.